All right, so here we got Marky Mark. Mark, let's give us a big smile. Big smile for the camera. Mark is about to perform a barbell back squat. As you can see, he's got his feet shoulder width apart. He's got his hands evenly distributed on the bar. And now he's going to start performing his squat. As you can see, Mark on his eccentric phase, his knees and hips are changing angles. His knees are flexing and his hips are flexing. On his concentric phase, the knees and hips are changing angles as well. They are both performing extension. Mark's knees do tend to go past his toes a little bit, and he likes to lean forward a lot more. But in order to fix that problem, Mark, I want you to flex more at the hips, okay? Flex more at the hips. There you go. So flex your hips first and then your knees. That's real good.
Craig is demonstrating a barbell front squat. The bar should be at your chest height. Rack it up. The feet should be parallel or slightly out-toed, depends on who you are. The bar should be across the shoulders or like above the chest. The grip is wider, a little wider than your shoulders. You should draw your elbows up as best you can, but Craig doesn't like to do that. He tries to. You should look straight ahead, and you should bend at your hips first and then your knees. During the concentric phase, your knees change in angles, and during that, during the extension, and your primary muscle mover is your quad. And your hip is also doing hip extension. Your primary muscle mover for that is the gluteus maximus. For the eccentric phase, for the lower end, you want to inhale. And joint change in angle is the knee and knee flexion, and your primary muscle mover is the quads. So the hip is also an eccentric. It's doing hip flexion, and your primary muscle mover is the gluteus maximus.
All right, once again we got Mark Messier here with the box squat. It's actually a bench squat. So because for this squat we want Mark's knees at 90-degree angle here, we put just a sort of semi-thick plate underneath his feet in order to lift up his knees. So they're at that perfect 90-degree angle right now. So Mark's feet are just like the back squat. His feet are shoulder width apart. He's got an equal length between his hands on the bar, and his back is straight, and he's looking forward, and now he's ready to go for his squats. So Mark's going to stand up, and he's going to start squatting. So when Mark squats down, just like a normal back squat, he's going to sit right down on the bench, right on the edge of the bench like that, and stand up. So when Mark's going down, it's the same thing as a back squat. On his eccentric phase, his knee joint and hip joint are flexing. His quads and his glutes are working. And also he is he's inhaling on the eccentric phase of this lift. On the lifting part of this, he is using his quads and his glutes again, but in a more firing way. He is flexing his hip joint and his knee joint, and he is exhaling. He's exhaling. Let's see it, Mark. Just like that. As you can see, he's doing the same thing, flexing his hips first so he can reach that bench, and then standing up. He's keeping his back straight, head looking forward, and those knees always go back to 90 degrees. mess him once again here. Right now he's in a starting phase for a split squat. So we're going to start with his feet here. As you can see, his feet are shoulder width apart, except obviously one is right behind him here, stretched out, and one is in front. His knee is at a slight bend. It's just to keep support so he's not locking out his knee. Mark, if you can stand up with a touch more. Yeah, just like that. So that's really good. As you can see, his back is straight. His core is engaged. He's looking straight into that mirror, his wonderful self. And his hands are in equal distance from each other on the bar. So I'm going to get Mark to do some reps here for the split squat. So basically, for the split squat, Mark wants to go down. The objective is not to go forwards like a regular lunge. You want to just go straight down, just like Mark's doing, straight up and down. So on his eccentric phase, you can see that Mark's knee, the back knee here, is bending. It's flexing here, but it's not touching the ground. The same thing is happening. Mark's gonna take a break, he's tired. He's gonna switch legs here. So basically, both knees are flexing on the eccentric phase. And then when he's on his concentric phase, both knees are extending. Now, his front knee does not extend all the way because we don't want to walk out of it. For his knees, his primary muscle movements here, on the way down, it's his hamstrings. So on his eccentric phase, it's hamstrings and his quads. And on his concentric phase, it's his hamstrings and his quads, and also his glutes. So when Mark is doing an eccentric movement here, you really see him exhaling. Inhaling, my bad. And then on the concentric phase, he's going to be exhaling. So, inhaling, exhaling. Okay, so we got Mark here. He's going to be demonstrating a deadlift. So right now you can see his feet are shoulder width apart. And he is going to place his hands on the bar in a squatting position. Like that. So his hands are an equal distance away from each other, just outside of his shoulders. And his back is straight and his head's looking forward, not down. Just like that. And then Mark's going to stand up with the bar. Just like that. So the key for this is when Mark is coming up on his concentric phase. So Mark, if you could do another rep. So when Mark comes up, he wants to keep that bar close to his knees, like a paint roller. So on Mark's eccentric phase, he's flexing his hips and his knees. He's using his glutes and his quads on his eccentric phase. On his concentric phase, Mark is using again his hips and his knees for flexion, for extension this time instead of flexion. And he is also using his lats. His traps. On Mark's eccentric phase, he's inhaling, and then on his concentric phase, he's exhaling.
Here we have Craig demonstrating the Romanian deadlift. Your feet should be parallel or slightly out-toed, and then shoulder width apart. Your knees should be slightly bent, and the bar should be as close to your knees as possible like a parallel. You should have a tightened core, and your chest should be out. You should have a straight back, and you should be looking forward at all times. During the concentric phase, your knees and your hips are changing angles. Your knees and your hips are forming an extension, and your primary muscle mover for your knees are the hamstrings, and the primary muscle mover for your hip is your gluteus maximus. And during the concentric phase, you want to be exhaling. During the eccentric phase, your hips and your knees are also changing angles, and they perform in flexion. The primary muscle mover for your knees are the hamstrings, and the primary muscle mover for your hip is your gluteus maximus. And during the eccentric phase, you should be inhaling. Craig is demonstrating the glute ham raise. For this, you want to adjust the machine to your body, and you want to place your feet against the foot plate in between the rollers and make sure the balls of the feet are in contact. You want to bend your knees to around a 90-degree angle or on the pad. You want to have a straight back and tighten your core and your chest up. And you want to keep your head looking straight. There you go. And on the concentric phase, the joints that are moving are the knee joint. And to perform a knee flexion, the primary muscle mover for knee flexion is the hamstring. And on the concentric phase, you want to exhale. For the eccentric phase, the joints that are moving are the knee joint. And the primary muscle mover, and the knees perform an extension, and the primary muscle mover is the hamstring. And on the eccentric phase, you want to inhale.
All right, Mark. So today, right now, we got Mark doing barbell rows, bent over barbell rows. Once again, Mark's gonna have his feet shoulder width apart. He is gonna bend over in squatting position to pick up the bar. He's gonna have his hands in equal distance away from each other on the bar. And he's gonna pull up the bar just so we can pick it up in a safe position. And now, as you can see, Mark, you straighten out your arms. Straighten out your arms. There you go. So, as you can see, Mark's head is facing forward. Sorry, we'll start with the feet. So his feet are shoulder width apart, hands good grip. Head is facing forward, and his back is straight. Okay. And Mark's gonna start doing his reps, just like that. So the joints moving in this exercise are his elbows and his shoulder joints. For his elbows on his eccentric phase, they're extending, and the major muscles that are being used are his biceps and his traps here. For Mark's concentric phase, when he's lifting, he's flexing his elbows. Again, major muscle movers are his traps and biceps. So on Mark's eccentric phase, he's inhaling, and then on his concentric phase, he's exhaling. He's getting a little tired. Alright, so we got Mark Mason again here, and right now he's going to be doing a one-arm dumbbell row, bent over row. So, as you can see, Mark has one knee up here on the bench, one foot on the ground, flat, and then one hand on the bench here. His back is very straight. What he's going to do is he's going to grab a hold of the dumbbell here, and then he's going to start doing his exercise of flexing his elbow and extending his shoulder joint. So Mark on this eccentric phase is extending his elbow joint, and he is flexing his shoulder joint. For this phase, Mark's main muscle movers are his biceps and his lats. On his concentric phase, he is flexing his elbow, and he is extending his shoulder joint. Again, the main muscle movers are his lats and his biceps. On Mark's eccentric phase, he's inhaling, and on his concentric phase, he is exhaling. All right. So we got Mark here. He's going to be demonstrating a horizontal row. As you see, he's just lying on the ground, and we've set the barbell up to about an arm's length above him. So Mark has his grip an evenly distributed amount of length away from each other, and what Mark's going to do is he's going to pull up also his hands are in a supinated grip. So Mark's going to do almost like a pull-up, but almost in reverse. So the idea for Mark here is to pull his chest up towards the bar. On Mark's eccentric phase, his elbow joint is extending. His main muscle movements here are his biceps and his lats. On Mark's concentric phase, his elbow joint is flexing, and his main muscle movers are his biceps and lats again. During his eccentric phase, Mark will be inhaling, and during his concentric phase, he'll be exhaling.
Here, Craig is demonstrating a pull-up. Your hands should be shoulder width apart and in a pronated grip. Straight back, and the scapula should be pushed closer together, and the core should be tightened and chest up. For the concentric phase, your elbow joint and your shoulder joint are moving angles. The elbow joint performs flexion, and the shoulder joint performs extension. The primary muscle move for the elbow joint is the bicep, and then the primary muscle move for the shoulder joint is the latissimus dorsi. You exhale in this phase. On the eccentric phase, the elbow joint and shoulder joint are moving angles. The elbow joint performs extension, and the shoulder joint performs flexion. Primary muscle mover for the elbow joint is the bicep, and the primary muscle mover for the shoulder joint is the latissimus dorsi. And on this phase, we want to inhale. Craig is performing a chin-up. Your hands should be shoulder width apart and in supinated grip. You should have a straight back, and the scapula should be pushed together, and your core should be tightened and chest up. The concentric phase, the elbow joint and the shoulder joint are moving angles. And the elbow joint performs flexion, and the shoulder joint performs extension. The primary muscle for elbow joint is the bicep, and the shoulder joint is the latissimus dorsi. And you exhale in this phase. On the eccentric phase, the elbow joint and the shoulder joint are moving angles. The elbow joint performs extension, and the shoulder joint performs flexion. And the primary muscle mover for the elbow joint is the bicep, and the shoulder joint is the latissimus dorsi. And on this page, you want to inhale. Craig is performing a barbell bench press. The feet should be in front of the bench and placed on the ground. The coccyx, the mid-upper thoracic lumbar, and the back of the head should be touching the bench. The core should be tightened and the chest should be up. The bar should be placed right above the eyes and should be at a level where your elbows are slightly bent to be able to reach it, and your head should be facing the ceiling at all times. During the concentric phase, the joints that are moving are the elbow joint and the shoulder joint. The elbow joint is performing extension, and the shoulder joint is performing horizontal adduction. The primary muscle mover for elbow joint is triceps, and the primary muscle mover for shoulder joint is the pectoralis major. During this phase, you want to exhale. Eccentric phase, the joints that are moving are the elbow and the shoulder joint. The elbow joint is performing flexion, and the shoulder joint is performing horizontal abduction. The primary muscle mover for the elbow joint is triceps, and the primary muscle mover for the shoulder joint is the pectoralis major. And during this phase, you want to inhale. Craig is demonstrating the chest flies. For your setup, your feet should be in front of the bench, and it should be flat on the floor, like that. Your coccyx, mid upper thoracic lumbar, and your back of your cranium should be touching the bench. The core should be tightened, and your chest should be up, and your elbow should be slightly bent to sides, almost like a 90-degree angle. On the concentric phase, the joints that are moving are the shoulder joints. The shoulder joints performing horizontal abduction, and the primary muscle mover for that is the pectoralis major. And during the concentric phase, you want to exhale. The eccentric phase, the joints that are moving are the shoulder joints. The shoulder performing horizontal abduction, and the primary muscle mover would be the pectoralis major. And during this phase, you'd want to inhale.